Listen.
If I am Dallas, I have to be prepared for him to go, and I have to look at the draft. I'd rather have Dak Prescott over, let's say, Michael Penix. But is he $52 million a year better than Michael Penix? I need an alternative because Dak could graduate next year.
So to be clear, when he says graduate, which is a term, Robert, that he uses a lot, he means... Can you just make that face again? Sorry. You think it's just that? So it's that level of crazy to you? That level of crazy?
Yes, Greeny, it's that level of crazy. If the Dallas Cowboys draft a quarterback in the first round, I would say that's organizational malpractice. Listen, for Dak Prescott, you either want him or you don't want him. But what you can't do is say, hey, we're going to put you in this last year of your deal. You've got a huge cap number. We're not going to extend you. And we're also not going to give you an offensive line to block for you, a starting running back, or a third wide receiver. We're going to say, go out there, Dak, and try to make it happen. Good luck. Now, if they can draft a guy like Michael Penix Jr. in the second round, yeah, I'd be completely open for that. But the last time my mama talked to me, she told me that two wrongs don't make a right. You can't not extend Dak, tell him to go play on this last year of his deal, and draft a quarterback who's not going to help him or the Cowboys win this year. It makes absolutely no sense. All respect to Mike T.
Well, except that it's exactly what Green Bay did once upon a time by taking Aaron Rodgers, and it's exactly what they did again by taking Jordan Love, and it kind of looks like the right thing to do. And let me make it
exactly. I like how Greeny just owned him. RG3. I don't know what he's talking about. And I'm gonna let this clip play a little bit longer, but I just needed to plant the flag and be like, what are you talking about? I'm not saying it's the right move or it's what necessarily Dallas should do, but to act like it's an insane move or that it's like an unheard of move, that it was malpractice, as I think he said, makes no sense. Because if Dak, you're sending also a message to Dak, all right, Dak, we're not going to extend you. We're not going to pay you all this money. And since you want all this money moving forward, we're going to show you what it's like when you take all of our money and we can't afford to pay other players and make, get you, boost an offensive line, get you another receiver, get you a running back, get you all these weapons, which they're still going to draft and make moves. But listen, you think that you can do it all. So, and go get it done. Like what he's saying is that he like, RG3 literally was just like, you can't just put Dak out there and say, best of luck, go do your thing. It's like, well, when the dude wants $60+ million a year, he better be able to go do his thing then. And if not, then say, why don't you take less money, Dak? We'd love to keep you, but you need to take less money. And if you do, look at this number one pick we're going to take, like our first pick. We're going to draft X. That he's going to help you. And guess what? Now with this extra cap money, we're going to go make a move and do this. We're going to re-sign that guy and this. Like, you actually have a plan. If Dak doesn't want that, if Dak's like, hey, I know what I bring to the table, I'm really big deal and I want all this money, it's like, fine then, man. We're not going to re-sign you. Get a taste of what it's like when you take all the money on the table, leave no money for everyone else. This is what it's like. We have a team that's pretty good to okay, sometimes great, sometimes not. You, Dak Prescott, since you're making all the money, you have to be the difference maker. You get paid more money than Patrick Mahomes, then go play better than Patrick Mahomes. Go be the difference maker. Go do it. Because that's what you're saying when you say, I want all the money. Give me all the money. And so it's just absurd to say that the Cowboys shouldn't do this, because I don't know what eyes they have on a quarterback, right? Like, no one really necessarily was, I shouldn't say no one, but people didn't think Aaron Rodgers would become the Aaron Rodgers. Even Jordan Love, people were very confused by that, and Jordan Love may end up becoming like a legit bona fide top 10, top 5, who really knows, but safe to say he'll probably land within that range, which is amazing, which is great. And so, I don't know if the Cowboys have anyone else in mind in that regard. And so if they do see, some Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love potential, then drafting them is not that big of a deal, especially if this final year doesn't help them win now, because they've been trying to win now for the last few years and it's gotten them nowhere. They've made no progress. They're not any closer to the NFC Championship game. They're no closer to winning a Super Bowl. They're just to getting to a Super Bowl. So, man, I don't even know.
Get clear where I'm coming from on this. Like, it's not up to the Cowboys whether Dak Prescott is their quarterback long-term, or at least it's not exclusively up to them, right? He has so much leverage in this situation, Jeremy. If he decides I don't want to be back in Dallas after this year. There's not a whole lot they can do about it.
Yeah, Greeny, considerable leverage. He's got a $61 million cap hit this year. He's got dead money on his contract next year, whether he walks or not. Now, I did talk to somebody with the Cowboys who said the notion out there that they don't want Dak Prescott beyond 2024 is false. They certainly still see him as their long-term option, but I would describe their negotiations so far on a contract extension as pretty passive. It has not been very aggressive yet. Nothing has heated up yet. But look, their tell this offseason has been spending zero money in free agency. They only have a few draft picks in the first 5 rounds. They have to fill a ton of needs. So they're set up to pay Dak, CeeDee Lamb, all these guys.
What do you think?
Well, listen, if Dak doesn't want to be there, then you let him go. Like, I mean, you do not. Rarely does it ever work where you convince someone to stay and it ends up being a favorable situation for everyone involved, quite honestly. When a player truly doesn't want to be somewhere, but they get convinced because of the money or some sort of false promise, it almost just never goes well. It just doesn't. And again, if you're a Cowboys fan, I would rather be bad for the next few years, lose Dak, draft a quarterback that maybe needs, can't have instant impact like, some of these other quarterbacks, but maybe need some time to develop or whatnot, then I would be okay with just then not being that good for the next few years and, just kind of rebuilding, because I don't know, does it really feel that good to win 12 plus games a season 3 years in a row and then just get, beaten pretty badly in the playoffs? Like, I don't hang my hat on that. Some Cowboys fans do, and it's weird to me, quite honestly. They're like, we've won the most wins in the last 3 years, and it's like, okay. So, I've always ranked, successful seasons based on, are you making it to the NFC Championship game or AFC Championship game, making it to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl? I mean, like, that is the way I look at it. And even that has certain degrees. Like, if you make it to the NFC Championship game, but you get blown away, like, yeah, I could still feel pretty good that my team made it to the NFC Championship game. But if they get blown out, then it's like, it all depends. If it was house money or if they deserved it or, were predicted to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. But if you're a team like the Dallas Cowboys, every year you're not making it to the NFC Championship game is a huge failure. And especially now with Dak, making it to the NFC Championship game is no longer good enough. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, are you really okay if they just make it to the NFC Championship game and then lose? Dak gets there and then they lose 21-10. You're like, oh, well, hey, we made it to the NFC Championship game. We're getting closer. I don't think you're going to feel that way. At this point, it's like, what are you doing? You're either going to win with Dak or not, but get on with it. Either way, keep moving. So I think if Dak is playing hardball, and at this point he's been with Dallas for all these years, and if at this point he's not, saying, I want to win, what can I do to build the best roster we can? If he's just like, I want this money, I want this money, I want this money. Again, on one side, I don't necessarily blame him. Get the money that you can, not judging you, but also all the greats know how to work with their teams to build the teams. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, right, are obviously the two best examples of this. And it's not luck that they happen to do those things and then also win at an incredibly high rate, because it matters. It's the nature of the salary cap, and it's what keeps football exciting and competitive and equal across the board. And, I understand how some people are like, these athletes deserve to get their money and this or that. I get it. They're already making a crap ton of money. And guess what? If Dak Prescott wins a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys, he will make way more money than the $5-10 million that he shaves off a year, whatever it ends up being. I'm just making up a number. He will make that money hand over fist if he won a Super Bowl. Just even getting to a Super Bowl, he would finally get more commercials than Sleep Number. Okay? I mean, like, my God, he's just really banking on those Sleep Number commercials. So I just think, again, if I was in Dak, because I try to think of what would I do if I was in their situation. And it would be hard. I understand, because I'm like, give me my money. I want my money. Like, give me the money. But I also really want to win. And it's, it's tough. I at this point, he's made so much money that shaving off a few $1 million here, a few $1 million there, you genuinely do not feel it. There's a reason why Shohei Ohtani didn't even know that all that money was stolen from him. Because once you start having so much money, would you really, outside of people who maybe are really struggling for money, and if you are, I'm sorry, but would you really know if like 50 bucks, 20 bucks vanished from your bank account? You would have no idea. That is how much money these guys are making, where it's literally equivalent for them missing like 20, 50, 100 bucks out of their account, and they wouldn't even know. So I just think that if you can't keep Dak at a good cost, then move on from him. You cannot sign him for all this money. I just don't know what you're expecting. The benefit of drafting another quarterback who will most likely not be as good as Dak is that you get the rookie deal, and then you can stack your roster. But as I've also said a lot in the past, is that to be able to make that formula work, like everybody wants to copy off the 49ers, you need to have an elite offensive head coach. The Cowboys do not have an elite offensive head coach, so they would also be missing that. If anything, they're probably going to do something where they let that go, they draft a quarterback, and then they hire Bill Belichick, and it's going to be like, what are you doing? That's not the process that you should be doing this in, which to me would be just hilarious to observe, but I would feel bad for you Dallas Cowboys fans. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think the Dallas Cowboys should do with Dak Prescott? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and algorithm, and it helps fight the trolls and the haters. Thank you so much, and see you next time.